Live in college dorm with roommate. Have nightmares about fairly typical scary things. Flashes, zoom-ins on disturbing images, things that I've never seen realized in crystal clear imagery, etc. For some reason, I'm completely unmoved in the nightmare. I'm not scared at all. The part of me that normally feels fear is just not home. Think clearly, is that all you've got? Wake up, lying on my side in bed. Eyes are closed, but I'm 100% awake, because something is watching me. It's in the room about 10 feet away, staring at me. It freaking hates me. Like, despises me, and wants to inflict pain and suffering and terror above all else. Sense it so vividly that I could sketch out the exact position of everything in the room, including this thing. The nightmare wasn't scary, but I'm freaking terrified. Know about sleep paralysis and shadow people, so I try moving my arms and legs without making too much noise or letting the thing know that I'm awake. I slowly and deliberately move my arms and legs and shift under the covers, trying to keep my breathing steady. Open my eye a sliver and look where the entity is. It's an irregular ball of shadow about the size of a football, maybe 3 off the ground. Spherical, completely non-humanoid. It's not a shadow person and I'm not sleep paralyzed. Roommate snorts and turns over. The entity pulls back, and seeps through the wall, as if it's descending towards the ground. Disappears, and the feeling of loathing disappears with it. Even if I imagined it, and it was just some nightmare lobe of my brain made manifest, it was creepy as hell.
In Leander. Visiting my cousins. They have friends that live out in the hills surrounded by woods. We go to their friend's house to hang out. The way we walked there was through the woods. Almost getting dark, cousins decided to leave. I stay a while. Eventually it gets dark, cousins' friends start going to sleep. I have to walk back, alone, at night. Luckily I have a phone and use light. Walking through woods, going pretty smooth. Suddenly I hear footsteps on leaves. Sound from behind me. I turn around, there's a fat guy grinning at me. I'm nearly froze staring at him. All of a sudden he takes a step forward at me. I freaking book it, running through the woods at night. Eventually I see a light come up and it's my cousin's house. Never felt so good in my life. This happened in Sandy Creek. The area has a lot of druggies and generally weird people. I quite possibly could have been killed.
It's not much of a story, but it's my story. Also, it scared the crap out of me at the time. Still now a little bit. He was probably only a bum, but his eyes, they weren't right. Be me 7. Rough night, feel unwell, bad sleep. Wake up at 2, have wet my bed. Don't want to tell mom and dad, just rip off the sheets and grab a tuna and go to the lounge. Set up a bed on the couch. No lights on in the house, but very light outside, strong moonlight. Get a slight creepy feeling, not sure why. About to get up and turn on a light when something tells me to stay perfectly still. From the street light can see a shadow moving on the lounge wall. There's someone on our veranda. Yep, can ever hear light footsteps. Not sure what to do, just stay still and try to pretend I'm not here. A few minutes pass, I'm still terrified but decide make a mad dash for my room. Sit up, peek out the window. There's a man sitting on our deck. As I move the netting just a few millimeters he looks up, locks eyes straight on me. Can't make out much, but definitely an older guy, wrinkled face. Eyes stare right through me, he looks angry. Points at me. Get up and run down the hall screaming. Mom. Dad. There's a man outside. Dad jumps up, does a sweep round. I'm terrified he's going to get murdered. Mom takes me back to bed. Oh little Anon, you wet the bed, I think you must have had a bad dream is all. Like damn bitch, we were nearly broken into, I probably save you from a SA. Have no idea who TF that was and why they were hanging out on our veranda at that hour. Could never relax in the lounge by myself at night ever again.
Be me. B19. 6 years ago. Hunting in a wilderness area. Suns out, guns out. PNG. Been out here for 4 days. Been hearing some weird crap but nothing absolutely crazy. Mostly just breathing. Safe to say that should have been red flag number 1 to get the hell out of there. Chilling by a river. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so I don't really feel like taking out anything bigger than a rabbit. Look across river and crap my pants. Across the river is something I can only describe as an elongated woman. Her arms and legs have to be at least 5 feet on their own. Neck like one of those giraffe bitches in Africa. Her head is twitching and swaying. She's wearing tattered white clothes, and has matted black hair that goes down to around her lower back. She screeches so freaking loud my ears start ringing. I start hauling ass out of there. Know that if I head west I will hit a trail and can take that back to the parking lot. 10 freaking miles to go. I hear her behind me, at least 15 feet back. Nope, 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 nope. At this point it's giggling and chanting something. No idea what the hell it was saying, sounded something like or rock or something. Hauling mad ass. Make it to the trail after what I can only assume was 3 hours of straight sprinting. Continue running. At this point I hear her to the back and left of me. She doesn't want to leave the cover of the forest. At this point I realize that the only reason I am still alive is the fact that I am on the trail. Because she sounds like she is right freaking next to me. Legs start moving like Shaggy's in Scooby-Doo when he sees a monster. Make it to the car. One more inhuman screech and that's the last I hear of whatever the hell she was. Always bring a buddy with me when I go on hunting trips now.
Posted this one in a/k/repeat thread ages ago. Story is from an ex-military guy I know from the pub. Pilot flying up in the Northern Territory. Radio into the airstrip, he knows the couple that run it. Says he'll be there in 4 hours, will radio when he's near the airstrip. Gets close to airstrip, radios the couple in. No reply. Circles and tries again, still no reply. Goes to airstrip in the next town over. Tells the lads working there the couple never picked up their radio. They call the police. Police come around to them, they all travel to the airstrip the couple own. Get there about 2 or 3 a.m. The lights in the house are off but the spotlights are on, some were shining off into the hill. They walk around the side of the house where the dogs are kept. 2 things they notice right away. The dogs are dead but there was no sign of physical harm on them, they all had looks of terror on their face, it appears they were literally scared to death. Second thing was the side of the house was riddled with bullet holes but they were fired from the inside out. They go into the house to find the couple dead on the ground with the man's AR-15 in his hand. They had a look of fear and shock on their faces, same as the dogs, and they were said to have died the same way as the dogs. Police radio it in. At dawn most the other police and paramedics get there, and so do some lads from the Air Force. They saw them talking to the police, then came over to the locals and told them to piss off out of here and don't tell anyone what they saw or may have heard. The guy who told the lad from the pub I go to was in the US Air Force and was involved with Project Blue Book and other UFO related business. He told him strange lights and other strange events had went down in the area the night of the incident.
Be me. Be this summer. Be stormy. Get home after work. Tired AF. Go to bed early. Have crazy scary dream. In dream lying down in bed. Hear pissed coming from my bathroom. Look up thinking nobody but me is home. See tall man wearing black coat peeking out of my bathroom. Sees that I see him. Hey you, yeah you, come on we don't have all day, he said, motioning me to follow him. I lie back down still tired and not gonna follow a stranger I don't know. I wake up. 2 a.m. Man, that was a crazy dream. Go to bathroom. MFW, the window is open. MFW, water is strung across my bathroom floor. MFW, it might not have been a dream.
Be me 6 months ago. Apartment flooded with sewage, lost everything. Crappy renter's insurance. Wife and I moved back to my childhood home while we save up enough to replace furniture. Car immediately breaks down when we get there. No problem, I can take bus to work. Bus stop is 30-minute walk from house through an area that used to be woods growing up. Always had nightmares about things in the woods. Wasn't allowed in the woods near my house, but everywhere else we had free rein. They recently added houses and a road cutting through the woods and a bridge built over a massive ravine. Starts getting dark at night. Fall.jpg. Walk home from work in the dark one night. Hear rustling in the bushes. Regular suburban dad dude walks out of the woods. WTF.tif. Crosses my path way too close for comfort. Didn't get a good look at him. Walks casually into the forest. Nothing but the ravine and darkness for miles. I nope the hell out of there. That night my wife has a nightmare that I grabbed her in the bathroom and had the face of the demon, and tried to suck out her soul. Reminds me of the nightmares I had as a kid. Crazy stuff is still happening to us. Hear noises in the ravine. See nothing in the day, movement at night. Nightmare from my childhood. Taking SSRIs now. Moving out soon.jpg.
I also live in Upper New Jersey and have had a somewhat similar experience when I was younger. Be me, about 15 years ago at my parents' place falling asleep in bed. Very old house in Upper New Jersey, near the edge of a swamp and large woods. End up falling asleep and waking up at about 3 a.m. because of weird noises. Weird freaking white flashes from outside window followed by slight whispering sounds. Hear large thud hit the roof of the house. This somehow does not wake up any other family members sleeping. More scuffled thuds and weird skittering sounds on roof. My room had a skylight window to look out at stars, remember this and check to see. Eyes lock on the skylight window and my body froze. Tall and extremely skinny and lanky thing on the window. Rib cage pushed against glass, could make out translucent skin that showed veins and organs pumping behind it faintly. Hands with elongated fingers that had large insect hair-like structures protruding out. Black fur that wrapped around it but also lots of pale translucent skin. Horn-like spikes coming out the body and top of head. Thick deer-like horns coming out the side of its face. And large bright yellow owl-like eyes that never broke sight off mine and turned the room the same faint color creature would tilt its head as if inspecting me. I wanted to run but my body was like a deer in headlights. Tried to scream but couldn't get anything but cracking noises out. Entire body froze up but also felt like it was burning. Heard strange sounds and noises inside my mind like it was trying to speak to me. Scrambled things that I couldn't understand. It breaks eye contact as if it turned to look up at the sky. Regain control of my body, tears running down I screamed and ran out the room and woke everyone up. Tell family what happened, no one believes me. No marks on glass or sign of it when dad came to check room. End up sleeping in a closet with no windows for rest of the night.
This was posted on here a while back and it still gives me chills. Had a weird dream last week. It's strange like any other dream. However, this one was far stranger. Pure darkness surrounded me. While I have some awareness, I can't see or move. All of a sudden a woman appeared and she just stared at me with a blank expression. Not a single word is said. Wake up. For some reason a thought popped up in my head. Stay out my dreams. I was still pretty tired so I went back to sleep. Wake up a few hours later. Realize that the woman from my dream is someone I used to go to school with. Go on her social media. She made an ominous post. It's just a photo of her with the same blank stare from the dream. There's a caption too. I'll see you in your dreams.
I had this one experience where I was almost abducted. Be 18. Walking to friend's house to go drink and play some video games. He lives on the opposite side of the city, 45-minute walk away. On my way there I have to pass a local park, normally pretty chill, but a few gang incidents have resulted in kidnappings/murders. It's about 8 when I'm walking through the park, so it's dark. No one around except for 4 guys smoking at one of the benches near the soccer field. One of the guy asks, "Want a toke?" I tell him no, I'm not a smoker. I keep walking towards friend's house. I'm almost there. He lives 2 blocks from the underpass I was about to cross. A van comes up behind and slows down near me. Same guys from the park. The same guy says, "Maybe you like a drink instead," while drinking a beer. Tell him no and keep walking. They are driving slow enough to match my walking speed. I yell, "What hell do you want?" The guy instantly changes from looking like he's high/drunk to being angry. He throws his beer at the floor and says, "Get him." The door on the side of the van slides open and 2 of the guys get out. I instantly think, I'm screwed, what do I do? All I have to protect myself is a pocket knife. I go to grab it from my inside pocket of my jacket. I think, pretend it's a gun, and leave my hand in my jacket, giving the impression I have a gun. The 2 guys stop charging towards me. The guy that offered the drink says, "Leave him." Looks at me and says, "Next time you may not be so lucky." They speed off. I call the police and tell them a weird van tried taking me near the park. They say they will send a car to scout the area for the van. They ended up catching them trying to pick up a 17-year-old girl. They find drugs, alcohol, and a camera with pictures of kids/teens they abducted completely nude and tied up. I was really freaked out about how close I was to getting kidnapped. I don't walk at night here anymore, especially in that area.
I got one from my dad. Dad, years ago and still young. Him and friends pile into car for a road trip into Virginia. Driving up, high into the mountains/woods. Having a good time. It gets dark and there's a sudden heavy rainstorm. Raining so hard that Dad can't even see the road, let alone see to drive. Drives blind for a while, sees a bright light up ahead. Dad drives to light, thinking it was a street light. Parks in front of light. Sitting in car, waiting for rain to die down. When humanoid shadow enters light. Dad and friends staring in awe of shadow, thinking Dad crashed the car and they're seeing an angel. They keep looking at the shadow, rain finally dies down and see what it actually is. It's an old man. Dad drove through this old man's yard and parked right in front of his living room window. Dad, friends, and old man stare at each other for a second. Dad backs up car, cuts 2 donuts in yard and floored it out of there.
I have a few. About 4 years ago. It was approximately 12 a.m. Live in a fairly quiet but dangerous area. Reading a book in my lounge room by lamplight. See something suspicious through the slightly opened curtains. It's a guy in my neighbor's yard, across the street, looking in his window. The hell? After a few seconds this guy walks out of my view. Decide to spy on him cause he was sus. He keeps on heading down the road checking people's windows/cars and sometimes their front door. He comes onto my side of the street a fair way down. I decide to check it out. Go grab my .22 Magnum lever action rifle. Hiding it behind my back. Suddenly this guy appears out from a house and looks directly at me. He's walking with a limp I didn't notice before. Not knowing what to do I go back inside and lock the door. Wake my fiancée up and tell her to ring the police. Aim at the door, chest height, and tell her that if he tries to come in I'm going to unload through the door. Hear crunching outside. My heart is racing. As it gets closer I hear the man say damn. 2 Colombian pesos cars rock up from both sides of the street cornering him. He's forced to surrender and gets taken in. Turns out he had a double barrel down his pants, and from what I was told he was actually found guilty of breaking and entering and murder. Supposedly he broke into some guy's house and murdered him and his mom and dad while they were all sleeping. I'll post more in a sec.
You guys wanna hear a real spooky story? One that actually happened. This one still messes with me. Many years ago. Young boy, Probably 5 or 6 or something. My grandpa had this old trailer house. We were visiting at the time and the parents were all out in the living room area watching TV. Me and cousins were in master bedroom playing around on the bed. We were playing whatever game it is kids play at that age and had the lights out. Out of nowhere my cousin begins yelling at us all to get behind him. He's practically petrified, looking in the direction of the windows. Scramble behind him and look at the windows to see what had startled him so badly. I remember details quite well. Windows were open, it was summertime. First I saw the white curtains moving with the wind. Then I saw him. Man standing there, but there was no color to him at all. Like the typical see-through ghost you always see in movies and crap, just completely see-through and void of any color. He was wearing a suit and he had this sad expression. I remember him looking very sad. I immediately freaked the hell out and ran for the door. We had it closed. The door was near impossible to open. We were all trying our hardest to open the door. Cousins were right behind me trying to get that freaking door open. Finally get it open and we all run to each of our parents, crying, freaking out. Of course parents don't believe children saying they saw a ghost, why would they? But it gets creepier. This is the part that really gets to me because I'm a skeptic. I don't typically believe in these kinda things, but this part makes my spine tingle every time I think about it. Years later. Probably 11 or 12 now. Watching one of those ghost hunter TV shows with my mom. Reminds me of said story. I mentioned something about seeing a ghost. She's intrigued and asks me to tell story. I do. She goes pale. Backstory, Mom has a sister, my aunt, who became challenged at a young age due to a severe fever. Anyways, aunt is challenged, has mentality of 5-year-old. Mom tells me that she liked grandpa's trailer, but there was one room she refused to enter, ever, and would freak out if you made her go into the room. Grandpa's master bedroom. Turns out that my grandpa's neighbor, after his wife divorced and left him, had hung himself on the porch right outside my grandpa's trailer. Deduce that the ghost we saw was him. Things just click and I'm genuinely freaked. Tried asking my cousins if they remember. They don't. That one was a real spook. I still don't know if what I saw was real, or if it was just kids with an overactive imagination, but the things my mom told me clicked together like puzzle pieces. Still makes me spooked to this very day. I will never forget what that bastard looked like, all sad and crap.
When I was a teenager, had a cell phone, never used number. A few months after having number, start to get a call at midnight a few times a week from a blocked number. Half of the time I'd answer it to only be greeted with what sound like somebody running through woods with their phone either beside them or in pocket. This would last as long as I'd stay on the phone. After a month I get sick of it and start talking crap. As soon as I do I hear raspy breathing. At first I was happy it was something new, then realized something was up. I keep talking trash, telling whoever was on the line they were going to regret disturbing my 12 a.m. bubble baths with their stupid ass. Few seconds later breathing stops and hear water running. What? Start to think whoever this wants me to be afraid. Forget that, I ain't scared of nobody. Water sounds stop and begin to hear a strange sound, can't place it. Sound gets louder, problem is I'm not only hearing it from the phone now but from the back part of the house. Realize it's the back door being messed with. Get the idea to start laughing on the phone while I grab my dad's 12 gauge. Sounds stop, they start laughing. Wasn't quite so bothered until they started laughing, then I felt doom and wanted to panic. Decide screw it, not going to be a pussy, go upstairs and open the studio's window, that's the only way on the roof. Get up there quietly and walk towards the backyard. See a tall guy in all black standing in the middle of the backyard with cell phone to his ear laughing. Shortly contemplate shooting him, he hangs up, looks and does nothing but stare. Tell him piss to off before I kill his silly ass. He points up and yells out, run. He turns around and bolts for the woods behind my house. I stand confused and a few moments later see two more people in all black run into the woods. That terrified me. Told my dad, who was out of town, he flew back that night and set up booby traps everywhere. Calls stop, nothing has happened since.
Saw someone wrote similar to this. Got creeped again cause something similar happened to me. Be me, 8. Wake up in the morning. Go to watch some morning kid shows. Go there. Watch something in TV. Suddenly get sleepy. So sleepy I lay on sofa and decide to sleep. Wake up in freaking hospital. Parents asking me how did I broke my freaking leg. They tell me that I woke up. They found me watching TV. Then we had some breakfast and I went out to play. Somehow I broke my leg and crawled back to home. Dad found me and took me to hospital. Do not remember any of those. Mind fuggled. Still after years my right leg is hurting before rain or sometimes don't feel it. And my walking changed, my right leg leans to left when I walk.
I rarely talk about this event. But since we are all anon here goes. Be me, around 15 years old. One of my friend's dad died. Friend and his mom can't pay for the house anymore. Have to move out. Me and another friend help with moving. There were more people helping that day. Aunts and uncles, friends of my friend's parents. Nothing out of the ordinary happening all day. Friend and his mom are pretty sad though. Dad dying and losing your home sucks. Anyway, things go smoothly. Loading up the truck, did the living room and all that. Last stop, the master bedroom. The room my friend's parents used to sleep. Just a regular bedroom. Big bed, a closet, and this old wooden cabinet with glass doors. Pic related, not the actual closet, but close enough. At this point it's just me and my two friends in the room. Room is on second floor. We decide to take the cabinet first. The top half was detachable, so we wanted to take that off first. Right at the moment we step towards the cabinet. I swear to God I get goosebumps just freaking writing this. We step towards the thing and the ghost of my friend's father rushing/gliding towards us. This smoky figure rushing towards us, face like he was angry and screaming. Sticking his hands out like he wants to freaking strangle us. All three of us freaking bolted out of that room. I think I didn't even touch the stairs to get down. Just freaking jumped down. Ran out of the house screaming. So everyone is just looking like what the actual hell is going on? My friend that lost his dad just sat there pale staring into nothing. Like he just totally lost his freaking mind. We told the people there what we just saw. The mother goes totally nuts. Some guys go up there to check but see or find nothing. The rest finishes the moving the next day because my friend had to go to the hospital. He was never the same again after that. Like always blank inside on medication.
OP here dumping another story to get it moving. Dude rolled into shop. Dodgy as hell. Picks up a liter bottle of Gentleman Jack's. I stand in front of door, as he obviously proceeds to leave without paying. Nah man, it's not free, pay or leave it on the counter. He does the usual what? What dick? Etc. Etc. He can't swing because he has to hold this Gentleman Jack's in his hand. As I'm talking he starts shaking his head at me. Think WTF? I wasn't asking him questions and it was just an unusual thing to do. Kind of walk towards him so he's further in the shop, back him towards the counter. Rip the bottle out of his hand and throw it onto the chair behind the counter. Pick up bottle of wine in my hand and keep it by my side. Leave or I'm just gonna call the cops man. Abuses me and swears as he walks out. Check CCTV footage to print out his photo. What I see freaking terrifies me. As I was standing at the door, there was someone behind me. Can't tell exactly what it is, but the guy has what appears to be one of those big, forearm-length, screwdrivers at his right side. He quietly moved right behind me as I confronted this dude and was looking at him. That's why the dude was shaking his head, he was telling his buddy not to murder me. Was actually kind of thankful in hindsight, but screw them, man. Lesson learned, always assumed there were more people outside if people were robbing the inside. Lesson learned, have room behind you to move, but Jesus, you need to know what's there.
Be me with 12 or 13 years old. I was on holidays, so with a group of friends we planned a camping in the middle of some farms, crops, and that crap. We decided to sleep that night inside an abandoned farm in its second floor. OFC, we were in the middle of the night talking and sharing funny stories and that sort of things. We heard a sound outside the house, like someone walking in the crops and getting closer to the farm. My friend told us to stop talking and paid attention to the footsteps. He was getting closer, was like in the living room in the one's floor. My friend decided to have a look to see who's inside the house. He descends from the stairs, and when he is almost on the first floor, whatever was there screamed horribly, not even a freaking human scream. After listening to the scream, immediately we ran like crazy and jumped from the roof. Then we see this figure looking at us from inside the house. We decided to move on and ended sleeping next to the road. The next day we returned to that farm approximate at 10 to 11 a.m. because my friend didn't took his phone from there before we began to run. We see these human-like footsteps. Friend has now his phone, so we were about to leave the farm. Immediately after he takes his cell phone, we heard how something smashed brutally a door and closed it. Start to run again immediately and return to the town, San Gil, Santander, Colombia.